Hi, welcome to Anime Movies Recap. Today I will tell you an anime story from 2018, entitled Sayonara no Asa ni Yakusoku no Hana wo Kazarou. The story is set in a place that is isolated far from human settlements, where there exists a race called the Yorf who can live for hundreds of years without aging. They constantly weave a cloth called habal, each of which contains a message within it. The story follows a girl named Maquia, who is working alongside her friends, Lilia and Krim. Lilia is a cheerful and brave girl, while Maquia is shy and timid. This causes Maquia to feel envious of Lilia, who is always cheerful and free to do as she pleases. When they return home after work, Lilia and Krim are warmly greeted by their families, but Maquia can only look at their happiness with a gaze full of loneliness, as she does not have a family of her own and only has the village head as a family member. Despite having the village head, Maquia still feels lonely, as she doesn't have a true family. The village head tries to comfort Maquia by saying that she will not feel lonely as long as she is by the side of the habal, but if she leaves and falls in love with someone, she will feel a deeper loneliness. At night, while Maquia was weaving habal, she accidentally saw Krim secretly leaving the house alone. Then Maquia followed Krim out of curiosity. After following him, Maquia saw Krim and Lilia expressing their love feelings to each other in a flower garden. Suddenly, soldiers from the Mizart kingdom who rode on dragons called Renato Dragon came to attack the village with the intention of capturing Eorf women to be impregnated and have children with long life like the Eorf race. At that time, Maquia went to the Habal castle to find the village head, but she was trapped inside because the villagers locked the place to secure the Habal. Suddenly, one of the Renato Dragon went berserk due to a disease called red eyes and attacked the Habal castle. Maquia, who was inside the castle, was accidentally tangled in the habal that was caught on the dragon's body, and the dragon carried her out of the village for the first time. Maquia fell into a forest and screamed in terror after seeing the flames in her village. She then attempted to commit suicide by jumping off a cliff, but she did not follow through with it because she heard the faint sound of a crying baby and followed the sound. She then arrived at a camp and found a crying baby in the arms of its deceased mother who had been killed by robbers. Because she could not bear to see the baby alone, Maquia decided to raise the baby and named it Ariel. Maquia then arrives at a village and is caught stealing goat milk for Ariel. The owner of the farm is a single mother named Mito and her two sons Lang and Dial. Mito knows that Maquia is an Eorf and feels pity seeing that the young Maquia has to take care of a baby and has no experience. Mito decides to allow Maquia to live in her home and gives her a job weaving habal, which is then sold in a store she knows of. Maquia also decides to dye her hair to cover her true identity as an Eorf. As time passed, Ariel grew and Maquia taught Ariel how to weave habal and they lived happily. Unlike Maquia, Lilia in the Mizart kingdom was chosen and forced by the king to marry Prince Hazel, to have an eternal royal heir. One day, Ariel was bullied by Dita and his friend for loving and being too clingy to his mother. Maquia was delivering a habal order to the shop owner. The shop owner then showed Maquia a habal that he had obtained from someone else. The habal had a message in it, that Prince Hazel was going to marry Lilia. Maquia was shocked and couldn't say anything. She wanted to save Lilia, and Mito offered to take care of Ariel because it would be dangerous if Maquia went with Ariel. But she couldn't leave Ariel and decided to bring him with her. At night, their pet dog died. Watching the burial process, Maquia realized that all humans will die at some point and that it will make her feel alone, as the village chief had said. Feeling sad, Maquia ran away from the place and Lang chased after her. After successfully catching up to her, Lang comforted her by saying that a mother should be strong and shouldn't cry in front of her child. After hearing that, Maquia decided that she wouldn't cry in front of Ariel. The next day, Maquia set off to the Mizart kingdom by boarding a ship to rescue Lilia. On the ship, she met with Krim and he explained the reason why the Mizart kingdom had attacked the village, which was to find the blood of the Eorf race so that the royal heir would have a long life. A short while later, they arrived in Mizart and met with other friends from the Eorf race. That night, they made a plan to rescue Lilia. The next day, they executed the plan by attacking the Renato Dragon, causing a commotion to distract the Mizart soldiers. This allowed Maquia to rescue Lilia. But, after successfully rescuing her, Lilia decided to stay because she was already pregnant with Prince Hazel's child. That night, Krim was seen to be very disappointed after finding out Lilia was pregnant and asked Maquia how it felt to be a mother. Krim also stated that human children cannot live long and will eventually die, so Maquia will feel sadness and loneliness. The next day, Krim left Maquia as he thought that the child would be a burden in the plan to save Lilia. Maquia decided not to go back to Mito's family and chose to stay in Mazart to continue her life. Maquia began looking for work to support Ariel, but she faced difficulties as every place she went refused her. Frustrated, she accidentally took her anger out on Ariel. Ariel ran away, feeling scolded. This made Maquia feel like she was unworthy of being a mother. However, when she touched the habal made by Ariel that says mother, she felt touched and immediately ran to find Ariel in the rain. She found Ariel by the river and Ariel tried to make her laugh. They both made a promise that Maquia would never cry again because she was a mother and Ariel would protect her when he grew up. Several years later, Maquia worked as a waitress at a restaurant and Ariel has grown into a teenager. The people around them considered them as a runaway couple rather than biological siblings, which made Ariel very uncomfortable. While serving customers, Maquia met Lang, her old friend who had grown tall and become a soldier in the Mazart kingdom. After work, Maquia and Lang share their stories, where Maquia tells him how Ariel no longer calls her mother after finding out that they didn't have a blood relationship, and Lang tells her that Duel and Mito are doing well. The next day, a scene is shown with Lilia and Prince Hazel's daughter, named Medmel, who is lonely because he is abandoned by his father and has never met his mother since he was born. The scene shifts to the king, who is panicked because Medmel, his granddaughter, doesn't show any signs of having a long lifespan like other Yorfs, and Lilia can't have a second child. The king makes a plan to find a woman from another Yorf tribe to give birth to a boy and become an heir with a long life. Lilia, confined in her room, is angry because she is not allowed to see her daughter. Isolde, the leader of the Mazart soldiers, tries to calm her down but Lilia is still angry and blames Isolde for killing her friend when trying to rescue her. Because Lilia cannot see her child, she asked Isolde to arrange a meeting with Maquia. After hearing the name of Maquia, Isolde considered her as the candidate for Prince Hazel's second wife. Lang, who knew this information, immediately rushes to tell Maquia that the city they are currently living in is not safe and offers to take her back to their old village. But Maquia refuses his offer because it would put Lang's family in danger. Lang also expresses his feelings to Maquia, but she rejects him because her focus is only on Ariel and how to be a good mother for him. Despite the rejection, Lang continues to try to help Maquia find a safe place. That night, Ariel comes home in a drunken state after being forced by his friends to drink alcohol. He starts to express his angry feelings about being treated like a child by Maquia. After uttering inappropriate words, Maquia slaps Ariel. The atmosphere becomes awkward and Maquia tells Ariel that they need to move because it would be dangerous for them to stay in the city. But Ariel instead tells her that he does not consider her his mother. Hearing this, Maquia broke down in tears. The next day, Ariel approaches Lang to ask for his help to become a soldier in the kingdom, so he can be away from his mother. Lang is furious at Ariel's attitude and reminds him how much his mother loves him when she raised him. Ariel then reveals his true intention, which is to protect his mother from danger. Seeing Ariel's strong desire to protect his mother, Lang finally agrees to his request. Ariel and Maquia quickly pack up his things, and at their goodbye, Maquia looks at Ariel with a warm smile. After Ariel's departure, Maquia cried and felt betrayed because Ariel left her even though he wants to protect her. Suddenly, someone enters through the window and kidnaps Maquia. Several years later, Ariel grew up and served as a soldier in the kingdom. Ariel heard a rumor that there were Eorfs captured by the Bayura kingdom. Ariel immediately reported this to his commander Lang. And Lang already knew about the rumor but wasn't yet sure if the captured Eorf was Maquia. Therefore, Lang continued to try to find and chase after Maquia. It turned out that the rumor was true, and the person who kidnapped and captured Maquia was Krim, a friend of Maquia and Lilia when they still lived in the village. Krim, who now works with the Bayura kingdom, tries to save Maquia and Lilia so they can return together as they were in the village. He planned to kidnap and capture Maquia, and cause the Bayura kingdom to attack the Mazart kingdom to rescue Lilia. On the other hand, Ariel has married his childhood friend Dita, who had bullied him before, and is currently pregnant with their first child. While they were talking, they suddenly heard the bell from the Mazart kingdom indicating an attack from an enemy. Ariel immediately rushes to work and defend the kingdom. The attack occurred because Mazart kingdom is suspected of misusing ancient powers such as impregnating Eorfs for the sake of obtaining a long-lived heir and capturing Renato Dragon as a weapon. This caused the Bayura kingdom to ally with other kingdoms to destroy the Mazart kingdom. On her way, Maquia meets Ariel after a long time. However, their meeting doesn't last long because they are disturbed by soldiers from the kingdom of Bayura. Maquia runs away and leaves Ariel. On the other hand, Krim meets Lilia and invites her to flee from the kingdom of Mizart. But Lilia refuses because she chooses to stay and live with her only daughter. This makes Krim frustrated and he tries to kill Lilia and himself. But he is stopped by Isolde by shooting him right in the stomach, so Krim dies. While on the run, Maquia heard the screaming of a mother and felt a sense of déjà vu, like when she first found Ariel. She followed the sound and found Dita fallen in pain because she was about to give birth. As Maquia was about to go look for a doctor, Dita stopped her as there wasn't enough time and told her that the baby she was carrying was Ariel's. This made Maquia shocked and immediately helped Dita deliver a healthy baby. On the other hand, Ariel was fighting on the battlefield for his kingdom, his wife and the baby to be born. Ariel and Dita's baby was born and Maquia instantly remembered the first time she had found Ariel and their moments together. Maquia then went to the war zone to help Ariel, and told him that his baby has been born. She recounted how Ariel was first found, how Ariel was hugged by his biological mother tight and Maquia had to lift her fingers one by one. And Maquia felt that she was not a good mother. Ariel denied it and said that Maquia had taught him many things and he felt guilty for leaving her. But Maquia said that Ariel always kept his promise to always protect her, and she doesn't care if Ariel doesn't call her mother, whatever Ariel calls her will be her name. Lang arrived and Maquia asked him to take Ariel to his family. As Maquia left, Ariel tried hard to make her stay and called her mother for the last time. The war ended with the victory of the Bayura kingdom. Along the way, Maquia saw that Krim had died and Maquia released the Renato dragon to escape. Lilia finally meets with her daughter after so long and Lilia told her that she was a tomboy and full of freedom. Maquia then came with the Renato dragon and tell Lilia to jump on its back dragon. Lilia asked her daughter to forget her and she will also forget her daughter so that they wouldn't have to feel lonely and sad anymore. But Maquia told Lilia that she would never be able to forget her child and that it would always be remembered for her whole life. And Lilia cried. Ariel, who came back from the war, immediately hugged his newly born baby. Dita told Ariel that she met with Maquia and apologized to Ariel because when she was young, she had bullied Ariel by saying that Ariel's love and dependence on his mother were weird. Several decades later, Maquia went to visit old Ariel who could only lie in his bed. Maquia praised Ariel for having survived this long and said that she would still keep her promise not to cry anymore. Ariel then opened his eyes and whispered, "Welcome back, mother." Ariel then took his last breath and passed away. Suddenly, Maquia remembered their memories together and she couldn't keep her promise and cry hysterically. Maquia didn't feel disappointed because she had loved Ariel, instead, she felt more fortunate. Even though she still felt lonely and sad, they would always be the most precious memories in her life. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos.